She sat alone on a blind date at midnight, then met a billionaire searching for real connection. The clock struck midnight. The bar's neon glow flickered uncertainly, casting eerie shadows on the walls and creating a disquieting atmosphere that buzzed with anticipation. There she sat, Claire, at a small table, heart pounding like a drum. Every tick of the clock seemed to amplify her loneliness, making her feel even smaller in the sprawling room filled with couples whispering sweet nothings to each other. The house band played a haunting melody, echoing the uncertainty swirling in her mind. Who would show up? Would it be another forgettable face? Or something more explosive? Out of the corner of her eye, Claire spotted movement. A tall figure stepped through the door, and the air shimmered with tension. He wore an expensive suit that seemed tailored by an artist. His hair was dark, perfectly tousled, and his eyes twinkled with a hint of mystery. Every woman in the bar turned to watch as he strolled toward her, confidence oozing from his every step. Who was he? A billionaire? A spy? She couldn't shake the feeling that he was unlike anyone she had ever known. As he approached, Claire's stomach flipped. She felt a mix of excitement and dread, like standing at the edge of a cliff, unsure of whether to take the leap. But before she could think, he was there, looking down at her with a grin that made her breath hitch. "Sorry I'm late," he said, his voice smooth, almost magnetic. "Let us make this worth it." Time seemed to freeze. Everything around them faded. A voice in her head shouted that this date could be different, that he might be the one to understand her. Then the weight of the moment crashed down, tightening her chest. What did he want? What did this whole situation mean? Could he really be searching for something real, or was it simply about his boredom? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash the like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the conversation flowed, Claire's curiosity transformed into apprehension. His stories twisted between wild adventures and alluring secrets that made her question everything. Was he hiding something darker beneath the charming exterior? Suddenly, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his expression shifted. Fear? Regret? It was a glance so fleeting she almost missed it. "Excuse me for a moment," he said, his tone turning serious. He stepped aside, shadows engulfing him in the corner of the bar. Claire's heart raced. What was going on? Who was this man, really? Was he just a billionaire looking to fill an empty void? As she sat there, imagining all the possibilities, she couldn't shake the feeling that this night was about to take a turn, and she could only hope it wouldn't lead her to a dead end. What was he facing as he glanced at that screen? And when he returned, would everything change? Claire's eyes darted around the bar, flickering from the invasive neon lights to the crowd of couples, whose laughter contrasted painfully with the thick silence that enveloped her. She fought to steady her breath, pushing down the unsettling knot in her stomach. That strange look on his face, what had it meant? As the minutes crawled by, each tick of the clock echoed in her ears louder than the jazz band playing in the background. She focused on a glass of wine sitting precariously on the edge of the table, swirling the deep red liquid, willing it to calm her spiraling thoughts. Thoughts she didn't want to have about the man who had walked into her life just an hour ago. Just then, the bar's door swung open again, and Claire snapped her head toward it, her heart skipping a beat. A figure stepped in, a woman in a sleek black dress with fiery red hair, cutting through the atmosphere like a knife. The bar seemed to stiffen, catch its breath. Claire almost stood up, but the woman's eyes locked onto her billion-dollar date across the room. "Jack," the woman called out, her voice smooth like silk. Claire's heart dropped as Jack turned, his expression shifting from momentary surprise to something guarded. "I've been looking for you," she continued, a smile playing on her lips that didn't quite reach her eyes. Claire felt as if the ground had given way beneath her. Jack's demeanor altered, and the warmth he radiated moments ago faded into cool detachment. Did he know this woman? Was this an ex, a lover, or something far messier? She almost didn't want to know, yet she couldn't tear her gaze away. Jack moved to the woman, their conversation hushed and intense, punctuated by quick glances in Claire's direction. A fresh wave of anxiety rolled over her. What was going on? Was Claire's hopeful evening slipping away into chaos? Suddenly, another buzz emanated from Jack's phone. He checked it, frowning, sending Claire into a spiral of doubt. How much was she prepared to lose in this tangled web? She bit her lip, trying to focus on the hushed whispers filling the space, but it felt like the walls were closing in as secrets unfurled. It was time to act. Claire stood, driven by a surge of courage mixed with urgency. Ignoring the nagging doubt in her head, she approached Jack and the red-haired woman, her heart hammering. She felt ridiculous. Would she even matter? Is everything okay? Claire asked, her voice steadier than she felt. Jack turned, surprise mingling with guilt shadowing his expression. The woman's smile remained a feline-esque grin behind sharp teeth. Claire! Jack exclaimed, as if her presence changed everything. His eyes flickered to the woman, then back to her, indecision flickering behind his handsome facade. I didn't mean for you to meet but before he could finish, the woman cut in. I think it's time for you to be honest, Jack. Her voice was cool, yet there was something dangerously inviting in her tone. The air crackled with unspoken tension as Claire's heart sank. What did honesty entail? What secrets lay buried in Jack's world, and would revealing them destroy the fragile connection they built only moments ago? As Jack hesitated, caught between them, the tension mounted, threatening to break. Claire braced for whatever was next, the answer looming larger than the bar itself. Would she walk away with a shattered heart or step into deeper chaos? The night was far from over, and she could feel it in her bones. The real drama was just beginning. Heart pounding like a drum, Claire's eyes darted between Jack and the woman, whose name felt like a weight in the air, unuttered but heavy. The laughter around them dulled, the melodies of jazz fading into a backdrop of white noise. Jack looked between them, his features twisting in an expression of turmoil. Claire, let me explain, he started, desperation flaring in his voice, but the woman stepped closer, her presence looming like a storm. You don't have to explain anything, Jack. Not until you're ready to tell the truth, she teased, a hint of venom in her playful tone. The way she said his name made Claire's stomach lurch. Who was this woman, and why did she hold such power over him? Claire folded her arms, pushing down the anxiety that threatened to overwhelm her. This was her moment. She fought her way here, against the odds and doubts. Jack's gaze was caught, trapped in a web spun by the red-haired siren, but she would not let herself slip away. What truth? Claire's voice cut through the charged air, the hushed conversations of nearby tables fading into silence. The eyes of the bar turned, some curious, others disapproving. A breathable moment unfolded, almost sacred, where she felt every heart beating, every breath held. Jack opened his mouth, but the words seemed stuck, swirling in doubt like the wine in her glass. The red-haired woman smirked, her confidence unwavering. How about a game, Jack? Her eyes glinted, and a sinister smile creased her lips. What will you tell her? The truth or more lies? With a quick glance at Claire, Jack stepped closer, the chemistry between them thick enough to choke on. No games, Ruby, he said, his voice low. This isn't the time. Claire flinched at the name, a chill skimming down her spine. So it was true, he knew her. Ruby. The name echoed in her mind, a name swimming in shadows, and suddenly the night turned bitter. Who was this woman, really? An ex? A rival? Had Jack been living a double life? Then why do you keep running? Ruby purred, her gaze piercing through the tension like a blade. Running? I'm not running. The way Jack faltered made Claire's blood run cold. Were they all accessories to this unsettling play? It feels that way when you keep avoiding your past, Ruby taunted. Then again, everyone deserves a second chance, even shady billionaires. The air shifted, a collective intake of breath as Claire felt the truth finally surface. Was Jack's past a darker tale than she had imagined? The thought sent a jolt through her, growing larger than her own fears. Jack's voice dipped, the weight of his unspoken secrets hanging heavily in the air. He reached for her, desperation etched on his face. Don't! Claire held up her hand, her voice shaking but firm. Just don't. I need clarity, Jack. Right now. Caught in a storm, the gaze she held was a sea of deep confusion. Did she truly want to know? More importantly, was she prepared for what she might discover? As Ruby took a step back, the cocktail of tension shifted again. Claire held her breath, ready for the moment the truth might crash down like waves against jagged rocks. Would it bind them together or shatter the fragile connection they had begun to forge? Before Jack could respond, a voice cut through the tension, harsh, loud, and brazen. You're not going to bail on me again, are you, Jack? All eyes turned toward the newcomer, an imposing figure swaggering into the spotlight, his face masked in familiarity, yet unmistakably tense. Claire's heart dropped. Who was this man, and what new storm were they about to face together? The layers were peeling back, secrets loomed. Would the truth mark the end of her chance with Jack or drag them all further into the storm? As the air thickened with anticipation, Claire's mind raced. The stakes had never been higher. What awaited her next? A murmur swept through the bar as the newcomer stepped closer, his imposing silhouette casting a long shadow over the tense trio. Claire's heart raced, her instinct screaming that this man was not just a bystander. He was a player in this dark game, and she was unprepared for the rules. Go ahead, Jack. The man sneered, crossing his arms. Tell her what you've been hiding. The casual sarcasm rolled off his tongue like venom. Claire could see Jack's eyes darken, the strain of the moment tightening his jaw. He was caught between two formidable forces. Ruby's fierce grin widened, a delightful tormentor relishing in Jack's discomfort. You know it's just a matter of time, Jack. The truth always comes out, doesn't it? Her tone dripped with mockery as she leaned closer, eyes fixed on him. The bar buzzed with whispers, the audience captivated by the display. Who are you? Claire finally burst out, her voice slicing through the noise. She demanded clarity, her need for answers outweighing her fears. What does he have to tell me? The man took a deliberate step forward, his eyes narrowing like a hawk zeroing in on its prey. I'm Chase, Claire, he said, his voice smooth yet sharp. The one who gave Jack a chance to bury the past and reclaim his life. And now he paused, letting the moment hang heavy in the air. Now, I'm afraid it's all about to blow up. Jack ran a hand through his hair, anguish etched across his face. Chase, stop this, he pleaded, the weariness palpable. This isn't the right time. Maybe it's the perfect time, Chase shot back, unyielding. You think you can hide what's crawling back from your past? You think throwing a party will keep it away? Claire's mind raced, pieces of a puzzle she didn't even know existed colliding chaotically. What are you talking about? What past? For a heartbeat, she saw the myriad of emotions flaring in Jack's eyes: fear, regret, guilt. Face it, Jack. Chase was relentless, throwing down an ultimatum. If you don't tell her, I will. The electric tension surged, a jolt igniting the crowd still observing. Whispers swirled through the bar, mouths moving, eyes darting. Claire could feel their stares, every judgment crackling in the space between uncertainty and truth. Just tell me, Claire urged, her voice trembling now. Jack's silence was cutting deeper than any words could. What are you hiding from me? She was on the precipice of something monumental, and an innate fear gripped her heart, clenching tightly. At Jack's eyes were dark pools of desperation. Claire, I know. Ruby interrupted, a sing-song venom threading her voice. Let him think about the consequences of his decisions. Everyone deserves to know who they're getting involved with. Is this a game to you? Claire spat back, hurt bubbling within her. Are you enjoying watching this? Oh, it's not a game, Ruby retorted, pursing her lips. It's a revelation. She shifted, leaning against the bar, exuding a sinister calm that sliced through Claire's defenses. In that moment, Claire felt the surge of adrenaline wash over her. The pieces were moving, but the picture remained blurry. What did Jack's past hold? And why did Ruby seem so eager to unravel it? Jack, please, Claire whispered, desperation clinging to the edge of her voice. Just tell me the truth. I can handle it. But before Jack could answer, Chase interjected, "You want the truth, Claire? Then brace yourself. The secrets here run deeper than you can imagine." As the words hung in the air, Claire's heart dropped, shadows closing in around her. She realized she was standing at the threshold of a revelation that could shatter everything she thought she knew. What lay ahead was beyond her darkest imaginings, something that could obliterate her fragile hope. Would she be able to face whatever truth Jack was haunted by, or would it all slip away into the abyss? The air in the bar grew heavier, stifling. Claire grabbed the edge of the counter, the wood rough against her palm, her mind racing in circles. Chase's icy words lingered, cutting deeper than the sting of whiskey-laced breath around her. Jack opened his mouth, hesitated, the words trapped just behind his lips. Desperation seeped from his body, his posture screaming both fear and longing. "Claire, I never wanted you to find out like this. I wanted to protect you." "Protect me from what?" Claire's voice was barely above a whisper. Each syllable felt like it was laced with shards of glass. The bar buzzed with anticipation. Chase leaned in, fueled by the tension crackling in the air. From the truth, of course. The truth that would shatter her little fairy tale. He glanced at Ruby with a sinister smirk, as if they were sharing a private joke while Claire stood on the brink of some abyss. Ruby's laughter sliced through the gathering storm. "Oh, it's delicious, really. Watching him break apart knowing he's about to destroy everything he loves. It's poetic." Claire whipped around, fury boiling beneath despair. "What the hell is this? Why are you all doing this to him?" "To me?" "Because the truth matters, Claire," Chase replied, lingering over his words. "And Jack chose to lie instead of facing it." His eyes were dark, gleaming with the thrill of chaos. Jack's voice trembled, barely audible over the bar's oppressive atmosphere. "I didn't lie. I was trying to move on. I thought I could leave that behind." Chase pushed forward, amplifying the heat of the moment. "Your past isn't something you can just shove under a rug, Jack. Not when it has teeth that bite. Not when it will eventually hunt you down." As each word struck like a hammer, Claire felt the ground beneath her shift. "What do you mean? What did you do?" Jack's face twisted in anguish, revealing a vulnerability she'd never seen. "It's not what I did, it's who I was." He clenched his fists, the tremor in his hands betraying his resolve. Claire's pulse raced. "Then tell me. Stop hiding behind hints and shadows. Just tell me." Panic roared through her as she emotioned, her life teetering on the edge of a razor. For a moment, silence fell like a weighted curtain. A ripple of uncertainty coursed through the assembly, every eye fixed on them. Then Jack inhaled sharply, visibly steeling himself. "I was involved in illegal activities, Claire," he finally confessed, the walls crumbling around him. "I was part of something dangerous, something I don't even want to think about. And I thought I could leave it all behind, build a life free from it." Claire felt as though the air had been knocked from her lungs. "What do you mean by dangerous? Was it about drugs? Money laundering?" "More than that. I was tangled with people who didn't just play games. They did terrible things to people because they had to. I thought if I ran away, I could be free." The bar echoed with the gasps and murmurs of the crowd, the weight of Jack's admission settling over them like a heavy fog. Ruby's grin had faded. She seemed almost impressed, and Claire finally understood that Ruby derived power from his downfall. "Now they want something back, Jack," Chase's icy voice cut through the haze, "and they don't care who gets hurt in the process." "Get hurt?" Claire's voice cracked, disbelief smothering her. "You're saying they'll come after me too?" Jack's eyes locked onto hers, raw fear seeping through the cracks of his bravado. I will protect you, Claire. I swear. I thought it was all behind me." But just as hope began to flicker in her chest, a distant sound rippled through the bar. A car horn blared, slicing through their tense bubble. Claire turned her head to the window, catching sight of dark figures approaching outside, their intentions unknown. "It's not over yet," Chase snickered, and as panic washed over her, Claire knew she was standing right on the edge. What more lurked in the shadows, just waiting to pull them under?
Would they survive whatever storm was sweeping in, or would this be the moment everything fell apart?
The bar seemed to hold its breath as the figures outside drew closer, silhouetted against the flickering neon. Claire felt a cold wave wash over her, a primal instinct urging her to run. Jack was still trembling beside her, and with each passing moment, Chase's grin widened as if he were feasting on the chaos engulfing them.
"Jack!" Claire yelled, finding her voice amidst the suffocating fear. "What are we going to do?"
Jack took a step forward, eyes darting to the window, then to Chase. "We have to stay put," Chase intervened, his tone chillingly casual.
"Trust me, you don't want to draw attention just yet." Ruby's laughter echoed, mocking. "Trust is such a fragile thing, isn't it?"
"You'll learn that soon enough, Claire." The dark figures at the window moved like shadows, slow and deliberate.
They didn't look like the ordinary bar crowd.
They radiated menace, their faces obscured, only the gleam in their eyes visible in the dim light.
"Jack, who are they?"
Claire's voice trembled, barely holding on to the frayed edges of her sanity. "They shouldn't be here." Jack's voice was heavy with dread. "They could ruin everything." Chase leaned back, his demeanor shifting from playful to predatory.
"You still don't get it, do you, Jack? There's nothing to ruin.
You're already an open book, and now they're coming to read the final chapters."
Suddenly, the door swung open, and the little bell jingled, slicing through the tension like a knife.
The bar's ambience shifted instantly as every head turned to witness the newcomers. Two men stepped inside. One was taller, with a hard face shadowed by a stubby beard. The other was broad-shouldered, wearing a leather jacket that clung tightly to him like a second skin. Claire felt her heart pound harder. Their presence radiated danger, an unsettling energy that sent goosebumps crawling down her arms. Jack's expression darkened.
"We need to leave. Now."
But Claire was frozen, caught in an anxious grip as the newcomers surveyed the room, scanning for something or someone.
"Is that them?"
The tall one whispered harshly. The broad-shouldered man nodded, a smug smile curling his lips as he honed in on Jack.
"Looks like we found our boy. Didn't he think we'd chase you all the way here?" Chase stood back, his amusement flickering away as if extinguished.
"You know this isn't the right place for this, guys.
Right?"
The tall man snarled, stepping forward.
"You think we care about where?"
"This is unfinished business."
Jack's face was ashen. "What do you want from me?" he stammered, retreating until his back hit the bar.
"Your debt, Jack.
It's time to pay."
Panic surged in Claire's chest. The conversation had shifted from cryptic to deadly, and she felt the walls closing in around her. Everything she thought she understood collapsed in on itself.
"Leave her out of this,"
Jack shouted, his voice shaking with a mix of desperation and defiance. The broad-shouldered man shrugged dismissively.
"Too late for that.
You brought her into your mess, and now it's all yours."
Claire could feel each heartbeat echoing in her ears as she stared at Jack.
He looked so small, so trapped. These people were not just threats, they were predators circling their prey. Chase finally stepped up, his tone cool and calculating.
"This isn't what you think. You don't need to do this here."
But the tall man laughed, a harsh bark that sent a chill down Claire's spine.
"Oh, we have no choice. Gotta take down the liar and everyone he cares about." Claire's throat went dry.
The weight of their gazes turned on her, and she could almost feel the malevolence pouring off them. Her world was spiraling into chaos, and the ground beneath her was crumbling. "Run," Jack whispered, his voice breaking as he clenched his fists.
But where could she run?
The situation escalated as voices rose, shadows danced dangerously near, and the terrifying reality of their predicament crashed down like a tidal wave. Claire had to make a choice that would alter the course of their lives forever. As the bar trembled with the tension of impending violence, a sudden crash of glass shattered the silence.
What had just broken, and who or what was about to come crashing in next? The bar erupted into chaos as the sound of glass shattering echoed ominously, drowning out the murmur of shocked patrons.
Claire spun around, her heart racing as she searched for the source of the crash. Outside, she caught a glimpse of a figure stumbling backward, his hands raised in surprise. The shattered glass had come from a nearby car, a sleek, midnight black sedan that appeared to have collided with a lamppost. "Focus!" Jack's voice cut through her haze, bringing her back to the present. The tall man and the broad-shouldered brute were still staring at Jack, a predatory gleam in their eyes. "I'm not going anywhere with you." Jack spat, desperation drowning out the fear creeping up his spine. "Suit yourself," the broad man replied, his smirk widening as he turned toward Claire. "But I hope you're ready to be part of the show. They say everyone loves a good tragedy." Claire's limbs felt heavy, her pulse pounding in her ears. This wasn't just a bar brawl, this was life and death. The world outside was crumbling into chaos, and she was caught in its eye. She took a step back, fear turning her voice into a whisper. "Jack, we need to get out now." Listen to her. Chase's earlier calm was gone, replaced by an edge that sent a shiver down her spine. "Let us just walk out of here before more people notice." "Too late for that," the tall man sneered, leaning against the bar and crossing his arms. "This is happening, whether you like it or not." The tension hung thick in the air as Claire glanced around. The onlookers sat with wide eyes, some covering their mouths as they absorbed the scene playing out like a twisted movie. She wished she could vanish into thin air then, with a suddenness that made her jump. Jack lunged forward. "You're not taking her. Whatever debt I owe, you can settle it with me." The broad-shouldered man lifted an eyebrow, intrigued. "Oh? So you're brave, or just stupid?" Claire's heart sank as Jack stepped closer to the danger. She wanted to scream, to drag him back, but fear rooted her to the ground. "I'm not stupid enough to let you drag her into your mess," Jack insisted, fists clenched tight. The broad one chuckled darkly, glancing at his companion. "Really? You think this is a game? This is beyond you, Jack. You're just a pawn in this." Claire's insides twisted. Had Jack gotten involved in something deeper than she realized? What kind of mess had he dragged her into? Her mind raced, searching for a way out. Suddenly, the front door swung open again, and a gust of night air swept through the bar. All heads turned as a looming figure stepped inside. This person defied everything. A long trench coat billowed behind, and a wide-brimmed hat shadowed the face. Whatever it was, it broke the tension with palpable force. Everyone in the room seemed to freeze. The new arrival paused at the threshold, observing the chaos unfolding with an unsettling calm. Jack's reaction was immediate. "No. Not you." The tall man's amusement widened. Well, guess even the liar has more friends than we thought." Claire's heart raced with dread. Who was this newcomer, and why did Jack look as if he'd seen a ghost? "Get out of my way, Chase." "This isn't finished yet," the figure said, the voice gravelly yet commanding. The atmosphere shifted dramatically, tension intensifying as the mystery figure stepped deeper into the bar. Jack stood paralyzed, eyes wide as realization flashed within them. "You shouldn't be here, this isn't safe." But the stranger kept walking forward, complete confidence in every stride. Claire trembled as she felt the walls start to close in more than ever. Who was this person, and how would it all end? The stakes were rising, and she could sense the tide of chaos shifting. Jack had made a choice, now Claire had to make hers, knowing the next moments could change everything. And outside, the sound of sirens began to wail in the distance, growing louder. What was about to crash into their lives next? The dim bar, once a haven of laughter, had transformed into a battlefield. Claire's breath caught in her throat as the cloaked figure advanced, an unsettling sense of dread clinging to the room. Patrons shifted uncomfortably, glancing between Jack and the stranger, unsure of how to react. Chase, the tall man who seemed to relish the confrontation, narrowed his eyes. "You think you can just walk in here and disrupt everything?" he taunted, running a hand through his slicked back hair. "You have no idea who you're dealing with." The mystery figure paused mid-stride, the brim of the hat concealing their features, yet Claire could feel an icy stare piercing the silence. "And you have no idea what you're about to unleash," the figure replied, their voice low and dangerous. Jack clenched his jaw, the tension in his body heightening. "Get out of this, now." "This isn't your fight," he warned, stepping protectively in front of Claire, shielding her from the chaos spiraling outwards.
Too late for heroics, Jack.
This is bigger than any of us, the figure shot back sharply. Claire felt her heart pound.
What did he mean?
The urgency in Jack's voice struck her as peculiar. The idea that they were all part of something larger sent an icy shiver down her spine. Chase advanced a step, his bravado slipping.
Do you really think showing up now will save him?
You're just making things worse. Ignoring him, the stranger removed the hat just enough to reveal a strong chin and piercing blue eyes that seemed to hold stories Claire couldn't fathom.
I'm not here to save anyone, they said.
But I'll make sure Jack pays for his mistakes. Jack turned pale, a mix of recognition and desperation flashed across his face.
You don't have to do this.
Whatever I did, I can handle it myself.
Really?
The broad-shouldered man sneered, eyeing the stranger with disdain.
And how do you plan to pay your debts?
Because trust me, it's too late for negotiations.
The clock is ticking. Claire sensed time moving differently in that moment, each second stretched infinitely, a taut string ready to snap. Jack's confusion morphed into something sharper, a resolve solidifying in his eyes.
Whatever this is, I won't let you hurt her, Jack growled, stepping closer to the looming figure, his body tense and ready to defend. The air crackled with a mix of anticipation and fear as the crowd held its breath. Whispers fluttered around the bar like restless moths, unsure what was about to unfold.
Fight or flight, dear Jack? The stranger mused, a hint of amusement in their tone. You may not have a choice at all.
Before Claire could process the tangled web of threats and emotions, the sound of sirens wailing outside crescendoed, drowning out every other noise. The walls trembled with vibrations, and a chill settled in the pit of her stomach. Panic surged within her.
We should go. Now!
Claire shouted, grasping Jack's arm, willing him to listen. But Jack remained fixed, his gaze locked on the figure like a moth to a flame.
I'm not leaving without a fight. If it's trouble they're looking for, they won't just take what's mine.
The figure chuckled softly, the sound both haunting and magnetic. You're right, they won't take just anything, they take what matters most.
Claire's mind raced. What did that mean? Was she part of the stakes now?
With instincts screaming for survival, she wondered if her worst nightmare was about to become reality. As Jack clenched his fists, ready to confront whatever came next, the door behind the bar slammed open again, and a squad of uniformed officers burst in, disrupting the charged atmosphere.
Hands up! Everyone stay where you are!
One shouted, the tension boiling over into a lethal potential.
All eyes snapped to the entrance, uncertainty thick in the air.
In that split second, Claire felt the ground shift beneath her. Life had escalated into a game of life and death, and she had no idea who she could trust.
What would happen next? Would they uncover the truth, or would the threats close in around them before they could escape? The bar erupted into chaos. Officers shouted orders, their voices muffled by the heavy tension that hung over the crowd.
Claire's heart raced as she squeezed Jack's arm tighter, willing him to retreat.
The cloaked figure showed no signs of moving, still locked in an invisible standoff with Jack. Hands up! An officer barked again, scanning the room with trained intensity.
Patrons rose slowly, hands trembling, eyes darting suspiciously. Claire caught snippets of murmurs, words like organized crime, debt, and betrayal, and they twisted her insides painfully. Jack's jaw was set as if he hadn't heard the officer's command at all. He stood his ground, facing the mysterious figure, who seemed to relish the unfolding drama, like a puppeteer pulling strings. Jack, please, Claire whispered, her voice barely breaking through the clamor. She felt a lump in her throat, the dread clouded her vision.
Not now, Claire! He snapped, his eyes steely and focused. I can't run from this. I want tea.
Before she could respond, the chill of the figure's presence crept over her.
The stranger's blue eyes flashed, that same unsettling mix of threat and intrigue. Timing, Jack, is everything. And the clock is ticking.
A loud crash echoed as one of the officers knocked over a chair during the chaotic rush to take control. The intoxicated patrons below started to stumble backward, and then, the lights flickered ominously before plunging the room into darkness.
Gasps filled the air as reality crashed down like a wave.
Emergency lights kicked in, casting a dim red hue that painted shadows across everyone's faces.
Claire's skin prickled with alarm. A commotion erupted, the officers shouted, struggling to maintain order.
The air grew thick with tension and confusion.
"Get outside. Now!" Another officer yelled, his voice thick with urgency. Claire's instincts kicked in, and she pulled Jack back. "We can't just stand here. We have to find a way out."
But even as she pleaded, she saw the figure moving with liquid grace. They slipped into the shadows, blending into the chaos.
"Jack!"
she said, a plea laced with desperation.
He wavered, caught between the darkness ahead and the looming threat that had invaded their lives. "We can't let them take you. We can't let them take us."
His expression softened for the briefest moment. "If I don't go after them now, Claire, whatever this is, it'll find us anyway." With that, he turned, fully committing to a chase into the abyss created by the blaring sirens and red lights. She felt adrenaline pump through her veins as she raced after him, each step an uncertain echo in the madness around them. Outside, the frigid air jolted her senses. She glanced back, expecting the figure to materialize like a ghost, but there was just the shuffling of confused patrons and frustrated police, trying to get the situation under control.
"Where did they go?" Jack demanded, scanning their surroundings like a predator tracking prey.
"They could turn up anywhere," Claire replied, her voice shaky.
"We should stick together." Jack nodded, determination etched across his face. "We're not done, not by a long shot."
Claire felt a knot of fear unravel a little. The fire in Jack's gaze was contagious. But as they turned to retrace their route, they stumbled into a shadow moving swiftly beside them, a whisper cutting through the noise.
"Jack, over here." Claire squinted into the dark, realizing too late who it was.
The cloaked figure stepped out of the shadows, drawing closer, a wicked smile illuminating their features.
"Back for more water under the bridge?"
they asked, the threat lingering heavy in the air. Jack positioned himself in front of Claire, fists clenched.
"What do you want?"
"What I've always wanted," the figure replied, the tone deadly calm.
"To finally settle the score." As they spoke, sirens wailed closer, drowning out retreating footsteps and sealing off their escape route.
Time seemed to stop, leaving Claire trapped in a claustrophobic bubble of dread. Jack's voice broke through the silence. "You won't get away with this," he growled.
"Oh, Jack," the figure said with a grin, "it's already too late for that." And then, as if on cue, the darkness surrounding them hid more than just threats.
Claire felt the ground beneath her shift, and she gasped, realizing this fight was only just beginning. What lies beneath the surface is far more dangerous than you think. In that moment, Claire's worst fears solidified, not just mere foes, but shadows of a past she couldn't ignore. What else would they uncover, in this deep unknown they had stepped into? The darkness hung thick in the air, mingling with the tension that wrapped around Claire and Jack like a suffocating blanket. Time felt suspended, allowing fear to claw at them as shadows danced ominously in the dim light. Panic surged within Claire, threatening to swallow her whole. Jack stood firm, eyes locked on the cloaked figure, a silent storm brewing behind his gaze.
"Settle the score?"
Jack echoed, indignation lacing his voice.
"What do you even mean?"
The figure stepped closer, revealing the hard lines of their face illuminated in flashes from the chaotic red lights.
"You owe a debt, Jack. You think you can just walk away from the mess you created?"
The figure's eyes glinted with an unsettling mix of pleasure and menace.
"I thought I could leave that life behind."
Jack shot back, desperation threading through his words. But that desperation seemed to fuel the figure's confidence.
"Too late.
You dragged her into your shadows," the figure snarled, nodding toward Claire.
"Now both of you are in this together."
Claire's heart raced as she flicked her gaze between Jack and the figure, her stomach twisting. She had entered this night hoping for connection but was now thrust into a world of danger and unresolved conflict. The air felt electrified, thick with silent threats.
"Get away from her!" Jack's voice boomed, shaking with intensity. He stepped ahead, a consistent wall shielding Claire from impending doom.
Her heart swelled with a mix of admiration and fear. What would he do? "Jack," she whispered, urgency creeping into her tone.
This isn't your fight alone. You don't have to protect me this way. Let us run. No.
He shot back softly, his determination palpable.
Let me handle this. Just as the tension threatened to spiral into chaos, a sound broke through the darkness, a booming voice, firm and commanding. Police. Step away from the two of them.
The newcomers, officers rushing towards them through the shadows, momentarily distracted the cloaked figure.
Chaos erupted. Jack didn't waste a second.
He seized Clara's hand and pulled her through the fray, a spark of hope igniting in her chest.
Run.
We have to find somewhere safe. He urged her, pulling her away from the bar and toward the exit, adrenaline driving them forward. Outside, the night air hit like a cold slap. Claire struggled to keep up with Jack's frantic pace, the chaos of the bar behind them fading into a blur. They sprinted down the quiet street, drawing deeper into the unknown.
Each step felt liberating yet terrifying.
Once they turned down an alley, he finally let go of her hand and leaned against the cool brick wall, breathless. All around them, sirens continued to wail, mixing with the buzzing energy coursing through both of them.
Are you okay?
He asked, genuine concern etched into his features as he searched her eyes, turmoil reflected back.
Am I okay?
Claire laughed breathlessly, the absurdity of the moment hitting her hard.
I don't know.
We just ran from a bar fight involving people who clearly want to kill you.
What's okay about that?
Jack took a deep breath, his expression shifting to one of deep resolve.
I'm sorry you had to see that.
But the truth is, Claire, he hesitated for a moment, the shadows of his past creeping into his gaze.
I never wanted you to get involved in my mess.
I thought, after everything, I could start fresh.
Fresh?
She hardly knew what fresh looked like anymore. The reality of who Jack had been crashed over her, and doubt crept in uninvited.
You could have told me. We had something good.
You didn't trust me enough to share your past. His eyes softened, and the weight of his regret hung in the air between them.
I was selfish. I wanted to protect you, but now I see I can't protect you from my past. I have to confront it. But I won't let them hurt you. The sirens dimmed, leaving an almost eerie silence in their wake.
The energy between them shifted subtly, thickening, drawing a cocktail of fear laced with fragile affection. The darkness hung heavy, begging for resolution.
So what do we do now? Claire asked, the question hanging in the air, ripe with
anticipation. Jack stepped closer, the intensity of his gaze burning into hers.
We face it together. You and I, he declared fiercely. I won't let them take either of us down.
Claire felt hope ignite at the hidden depths of his words. The storm might rage ahead, but they would stand together against it.
Then let us do this. Together.
Their fingers intertwined, a promise against the shadows, a bond unbreakable in the face of chaos.
Shouts echoed from the street ahead.
They both knew this battle wouldn't be easy, but perhaps it was a fight worth facing after all. With hearts aligned, they took a step forward, ready to confront whatever monsters lurked in the darkness ahead. Back at the bar, the aftermath of the chaos began. The officers took control. The cloaked figure slipped back into the shadows, but their presence lingered, an unresolved threat in Jack's impending battle. The night had revealed more than just secrets, it illuminated unforeseen choices for Claire and Jack.
Would love be enough to conquer all?
Only one way to find out. If you've made it this far, don't wait another second. You need to subscribe immediately to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will take you on yet another wild ride.
Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. We're counting on you. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about what happens next for Claire and Jack.
And don't forget to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion.
This is the moment to show your support.